Hello, everyone. Just before this episode starts, I wanted to do a very quick recording. Um, there are things happening. I'm a lot of moving around, a lot of moving of equipment, a lot of stuff going on at the moment. So we have had a couple of problems during these next two episodes. You'll notice that the sound mix is not quite right. The music from Foundry is too loud, and in addition to that, we drop a lot of frames. I'd accidentally hit hardware encoding rather than software encoding when I did these two recordings, and so we're dropping frames all over the place. Apologise for the quality of this. The sound is at least manageable. As I say, when we get into the music playing, it's a bit too loud. I will resolve that, but with any hope, you'll be fine with this. This intro will be on the start of the next episode as well. We record things in double episodes, so that's the situation. I'm sorry for the quality of this one, but it is still manageable in terms of the sound, just about, and you should be able to hear us fine. Learn things, change things, move things, it all becomes a problem. But anyway, that's the way we are. And I'm now going to put this onto the front of the episode and get it out there for you. See you around and enjoy the episode. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the next episode, episode 49 of Random Encounter, Pathfinder 2nd Edition. We're doing the Abomination vaults. We haven't changed part way through, promise. And we are fundamentally we've got stuff from last week. I think stuff is the best term for it. There are things going on, stuff has happened, but what we do want to do is just a couple of little bits and pieces, standard show of talking business, I guess. You will see in a bit Foundry, because we like Foundry. Foundry is a lovely VTT, and I have to admit, the more I keep on poking at things with Foundry, the more I start wanting to play other games in it, which is probably not good for me, considering my kleptomania style of starting and stealing players and running games that last only a little bit of time. Anyway, we'll have a look at that. But there is a couple of things that have happened. More about this will happen in episode 50. We're holding off a little bit on announcing stuff, but I did want to say very, very quickly, we've got more than 100 subscribers, and that's amazing. Thank you ever so much for those people that have come along, especially in the last few weeks. We can't think of a reason why that's happened. No reason at all why people might suddenly be joining and having a look at some Pathfinder 2nd Edition stuff. In all seriousness, if you've come over here to watch a bunch of people playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition when you used to be D&D players, why us? Honestly, there's but yeah, we appreciate it massively. And we hope you're enjoying it. We're getting lots more comments on our videos now, which is awesome. Some people are obviously coming in from the latter episodes and starting to catch up and talking about the stuff that we've done. It's been really cool. We try and keep up with this sort of stuff as much as we can. At least I tend to try and respond to more or less all of the comments that come along, apart from maybe the odd one or two, which are like, the sound's really bad. I know the sound's really bad. It's a little difficult to deal with individual people's volumes, unfortunately, post-production, but we do try. In this occasion, we're hoping that the sound is good, because lots of people have been moving around, changing places and doing other bits and pieces using different rooms. So we're trying to rebalance the sound based on the fact that the acoustics are different, which is always awkward. In either case, we will endeavour to keep maintaining and doing what we can, and yeah, we will get into the episode shortly. I wanted to just bring up, though, before we actually get into this, obviously the end of last session we hit a real big point for an individual personal moment, I think is the thing here. And we're going to drift into this moment, pick it back up more or less from where it stopped. But yeah, it was a fun episode. I think I really enjoyed last time. I really enjoyed that last session. So, do people want to get back into that? People want to get back into the game. Okay. So, as I say, we'll leave a little bit of the announcements till later. But instead, we'll grab a little bit of music and we'll move you lot over to this screen here. He says he grabbed music. I can't hear anything. Has everybody else got music? Oh, there it is. Music. I've got music. Awesome. Well, sound. I have a campfire. This small ring campfire that's in the middle of this pavilion, this large stone pavilion. And at your feet is Joel Mesmin. What you now know to be not only a murderer, but also a werewolf. And explains a hell of a lot of the lore and the history behind him. And I believe, Phelan, your last words were...
Oz, finish the job.
And there is about half a second, if that, of hesitation from Oz, just before he starts to swing a halberd.
Which Inver says, hang on, when did we become judge, jury and executioner?
I mean, that would be like floor 3, floor 2, first floor, ground floor.
Yep.
Through a lot of this.
Not in cold blood.
I mean, I definitely got nicked all the way through this, I'm fairly certain.
I've looked pretty warm, I think.
Do you want to define why this particular one's cold blood? Is it because it's more human than, like, the poor idiots who are considering invading Otari up on the ground level?
Because Phelan wants him dead for crimes he committed, not because he's currently in a fight with us. He was in a fight with us, and that was fine.
And this is, unless he decides to get up and run away really quickly, this is the end of that fight, and he's very dead.
But I surrendered.
And there we have it.
Yes.
So,
It's tradition, the end of a fight.
what are we going to do with him, Invar? Are we going to take him back to Atari so he can be strung up by the husband of the owner of this pendant? Because he's not going to suffer any better at their hands, and probably worse. I'm fairly sure Moz will be quick and clean.
I mean, that was generally the plan.
So, what are we going to do? I mean, if he, in the last 30 years, had made any attempt to perform any act of repentance, you know, I'd be right on your side.
You'll note I'm still stood behind you.
Mm-hmm.
And is that a passive threat?
No, it's an observation that I'm not so committed to this that I'm going to stand between you and him. I just asked when we became judge, jury and executioner.
My perspective, we were attacked right out the doorway. We have taken down bigger things for exactly that fault. About the only thing we've let live around this place is actually that annoying little kingly type thing up on the first floor who I'm seriously having considerations about at this point.
I dislike the idea that surrender doesn't change the outcome. I'm not saying it's wrong. I agree with Phelan that there is probably no way back for him. I'm just uncomfortable that in a dark corner of a dungeon somewhere we get to decide that. But I'm still not standing in the way.
That was a 10 on a 1d10. Plus 4 for strength.
Having already said this would be fundamentally a kill shot, he is not really thinking about resisting. He was kind of all for what Inver was saying, and this thing comes sliding in from the side. You catch him square in the neck, and he just drops. The wolf growls, but it's doing that thing that dogs do when they're sort of trying to push themselves away while growling. It's anger, but it's also fear.
Oz will give him space.
Yeah. Let's clear out of this passageway. Give the wolf space to run.
Mm-hmm.
That one's only acting under instruction. It's an animal. It might be a threat, but more likely than not, it won't go near the town.
Oh, we're still in turn order.
Yep. So, what you'll note is the wolf attempts to effectively drag the body, and it pulls it up to the north, towards what you can see, very simply, and I'll drop you out of combat now. But if you are looking up towards the north, there is a sort of passageway up to this northern side, just up here, if you can see where I'm pinging, which disappears, slight camber upwards, and sort of winds and wends. The wolf attempts to sort of drag the body towards that passageway, but after a while realizes it's never going to be able to pull its master through the water and over the edge, and will in time just disappear of its own accord up that pathway and out of sight. You are left with the remains of Joel. You note that alongside the pendant, the necklace, it's also got a pair, although it never really got to use them. They were on the belt and it turned into a werewolf before it got the chance. But there are a pair of Qatar punching daggers, for those that don't know what they are. And with a little bit of poking with spells and various other bits and pieces, you become aware that they are both magical. If people would like to identify them, you can pick Arcana, Nature, Occultism, or Religion. You do need to be trained in it. And for identification rolls, I'm actually not going to do them secretly anymore. I'm going to just let you guys do them, because you'll know whether or not you know what these things are or not. It's not like it's a secret thing. So pick whichever one of those you want to roll, and you may roll them, and I'll go through and check with each person what they've rolled and what they got. So Phelan,
22 nature.
22 nature. Okay. Neffy,
23. Yeah, 23 occultism.
okay. Moz,
You say Arcana was one of those?
Arcana is one of them, yes.
19 Arcana.
19 Arcana, and Inver.
Occultism, natural 20 plus 7.
Nice.
So, other than Moz, who, to be honest with you, got very, very close, but not quite. You are able to identify that these have 2 of the basic runes on them. There's nothing overly fancy about them, but both of them have a +1 potency rune and a striking rune on them. Both of them. Okay. So they are +1. They gain bonus damage dice. They're pretty good weapons as they are. They are, however, and they're simple weapons as well. So a lot of you can use them, which might be at least something to think about. But with all of these things, and it is worth noting, you can move runes from one thing to another. Okay, so there is potential that the striking rune could go on Moz's halberd, for instance, should that be what you want to do, and then it would become a 2d10 weapon rather than just the old 1d10 weapon.
I mean, Moz would never turn it down, but me as a player is going to very gently say, as much as I would like the shiny spangly shit, I think Moz's halberd is becoming a very nice magical item, but the lovely to be shared. That's what the player is saying.
Well, I don't get into combat if in close range, so I don't want it.
I will state another thing about Qatar, which is going to be important. It is a monk. They are monk weapons. Okay. Now that doesn't mean other people can't use them, because they are simple as well. So, you know, there's a balance off there. They are agile, which means they're very good for Nephi on a variety of different levels. They are also deadly D6, so if you crit with them, not only do you get the striking, but you get an extra D6 on top. So they are particularly good weapons.
But they're not finesse.
They are not finesse weapons. They are agile and deadly.
So they're strength, not dex.
Correct.
We're probably better off moving those runes onto weapons that people are more comfortable using, I think. You know, Nephi's sword or crossbow, whatever Moz's halberd will take. But you guys have a think about that. I'm going to take Joel's body over to the western shore and see if I can at least pile a cairn of stones over it.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
It might be worth taking the head for identification and proof purposes. I don't know if that's appropriate, or your faith of mine.
Technically speaking, he's dead. He's not in there. This is just meat. But we'll take the head back. I'm going to cairn up the body because I just need to.
Yep. That's why I asked, why I mentioned.
Yeah.
And I don't imagine that this will be the last time we're down this deep before going back up top. Proof is proof, and then we bring it back down and we leave it with the body.
Yeah. It works for me.
Okay. So you head over to that western shore. The first thing I would state is there is quite a lot actually in this cavern. Firstly, there's the route to the north that you can already see. It goes across a bridge up to a single door, which I will just show the people on the stream. Here we go, my view again. I'm controlling everything. So just here to the north, there is a bridge with a single door. In addition to that, on the northwestern side of this, there is another sort of meandering, slightly climbing route that heads off through the caves of a sort of natural sort rather than the more obvious bridge, and that climbs up. In addition, there is also 2 passageways on the southern side. One is considerably larger than the other. The first one the smaller one, seems to be the source of the water. And when you put two and two together, you kind of go, oh, hang on a second, I wonder if that is the link from above, from the gibbering mouth of the cave that had that little pool in it, and the water going downhill. And with a little bit of sort of checking and poking your head around and having a look at the fact that it goes slightly up, you can put two and two together and work out that that is roughly where that would head. So that checks that one off. However, the passageway, the second one, the larger one, there are a couple of interesting things that you can see from your vantage point as it is. Firstly, especially Moz, because Moz is looking down there, there appears to be a pool of liquid, rather horrible green, slimy looking water in this pool. And this comes from a large metal chute or pipe that comes out of the western wall in that chamber, travels over to this this pool of water, and appears to be dumping refuge out of it. It almost looks like this is some sort of basically refuse chute. It looks like it's a dumping chute for whatever potentially comes from the other side of that build, you know, from this floor. You're not entirely sure, but that chamber also has another passageway heading south out of it. Takes you a bit of time, but you're able to find enough stones and bits and pieces in here to build up a cairn burial for Giles' body. The head disappears, I'm assuming, into the bag of holding so that nobody has to grab hold of it by mistake. And you are done within this chamber. Just make sure there is nothing else lying around.
As much as the strange effluent pipe is interesting, or the strange leaky pipe is interesting, Moz is going to take a quick look up at the door in the doorway and the route up to the north to see if it's as fancy as everything else, or as fancy as everything else isn't.
So when you head up to this door, was there a description of it? It's just a plain and simple door.
Well, it's almost moderately disappointing. Sofa. It's a nice convenient doorway, interesting steps around the joint, all strange leaky pipes and whatever else is down off there. What's everyone feeling like today?
Doors. Definitely doors rather than climbing and getting wet.
I'm curious about the green gloop.
Yeah. There is the thought of, if we're going to be as thorough here as we were on the previous levels, sooner or later we'll trip over the source of the gloop.
Worth getting an idea of what it actually is?
Mm-hmm.
I shall go over to the gloop and investigate it, given my various skills, as much as I can, without touching it, tasting it, or having more than the most perfunctory little sniff.
Okay. So you...
It looks like a British beach.
Fine, well, yes. So you drop off into the water, climb. Well, you've already done this.
Yeah, I've already
You're
been-
already on the other side. You head over to this. So the full description of this: a rusty metal chute protrudes from the ceiling to the west here, coming to an end over a pool of slimy water. A huge mound of fungus lies under the tube against the west wall, resting in a strangely monstrous shape. I get my teeth back in now after trying to say that.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just not mess with that until we have to. It's the huge fungus thing. I don't put it past it to come alive and try and eat my face.
Best case scenario, it might make you see a god. Worst case scenario,
Might
eat
make
your
you-
lunch.
I was going to say, might make you go and see a god.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
direct way.
I'm just more concerned. I don't.
God, but that might not be a matter for this cave.
See, I'm more concerned. I don't necessarily want to go opening doors until we've cleared everything up that needs clearing up. I would hate for something to come behind us.
It's definitely a potential problem.
Uh-huh. If it looks vaguely strange and monstrous, Valen, is it actually a monster trying to escape in very small pieces over a long period of time? What? I don't know, undead, other than like creepy and weird. Well, I do.
Such
Should be a
things
pet.
are.
Gus.
Oh no! Don't pay it. No.
Can I attempt some sort of discern knowledge roll on the fungus? This is where you should be glad I'm not a bard.
Yeah.
A different role. He
He
seems like a fun
Do
guy.
not pet the fungus.
Heavy petting is included in this statement.
Okay.
Consent first.
You look at this. Its shape is peculiar. It's a large lump with what appear to be tendrils coming off of it. You have a look at this and you have no idea what this thing is. Not a clue. If it could just be a big mound of fungus, as far as you're concerned.
Neffy, did you bring your Sailor Scout uniform?
Yes. Oh, you're bad people if you get in the reference to that.
Oh, I'm a good person.
I'm lawful.
Not what we mean in this
I think
situation.
you used one too many letters there, JJ. Right. I think, all things being equal, unless we really want to try and aggravate the fungus, we should leave the fungus alone.
Yes, we don't want it
He
to
really
become.
wants
an
to
annoying
aggravate
dust.
the fungus.
Do not taunt the fungus.
Haha, you're a
Do
mushroom.
not the fungus.
Ladies, gentlemen, folks in the audience, this is your caption competition. Do not blankety blank the fungus. Please put your comments below.
Oh no.
In the doobly doo.
Because the last thing we need is a humongous fungus among us.
Yes. Asking
You're all
for your
bad
fuel
people.
and your women.
You wouldn't have it any other way.
No, true. Very, very true. Okay. So, based on that principle, you do have a door to the north and a passageway to the north. Or you could just skirt around, or attempt to skirt around the fungus in the pool and see what the exit to the south is, but I believe you're avoiding the fungus, so it sounds like you're going north.
North through the door is probably our best option. So
Yeah.
the universe will, of course, prove me wrong in 3, 2.
Okay.
Peg did that to herself.
In all seriousness, have we had enough time that I can do a bit more medicine on
Yes.
Mr. Moz?
Yes. You've been skirting around doing bits and pieces and so on and so forth.
Me heal too.
I am, however, I would like everybody. Yes, I'd like everybody. I'm going to do it this way to roll a perception check for me and just tell me what you get. This is not the normal way of doing Pathfinder 2nd Edition, but I'm winding up my players, so please bear with me.
Wait, what?
8 plus
Phelan,
10 giving 18. But for the record,
27.
GM,
27.
I'm Moz is being suspicious of all
26.
help.
26. Uh-huh.
5 and 6 for 11.
Okay, fine.
Oh dear.
Phelan and Neffy, after a little bit of doing all the bits and pieces and healing up for Phelan and so on and so forth.
9 HP for Moz.
9 HP for Moz. You both notice something that confuses the living daylights out of you. The door that you came through that goes upstairs is closed. You don't remember anybody closing it.
I go and open it.
It opens.
Uh-huh.
What are you going
Is
to
there
do?
anything... Poke my head through and see if anything looks
Nope.
different or...
No, all looks the same.
I step back and I just watch the door.
What are you doing, Neffy?
1 minute exactly later, the door quietly slides closed.
Oh, so it's not like a timer. Pull out my little sun timer. No, I'm kidding. Doors close automatically down here, it seems.
That's
Different.
handy.
Neffy, you tend to do a lot of the like walking backwards and forwards, figuring out what we've got is magical or not.
Uh-huh.
Did this door ping? Did it?
That's a good point.
Nope.
No? Does it... When the door shut, could I hear a mechanical whirring or anything?
No, there's, if anything, there's just a vague perception of a gentle breeze going past and the door just closes.
What about a horn or something? Can Invar sense anything?
A well-balanced door and a weight on a string.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Enver,
Yep,
I assume you're going to do your spirit sense.
yep.
You realise that your spirit sense is going to be of absolutely no use to you down here whatsoever. The entire place is full of spirits which you believe are bound to the doors to close them if somebody forgets. This entire floor, you can feel them everywhere around you.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean,
These
it's
two-
not great because I now can't see anything else, but
The Sirius Necromantics Corporation. Happy to be of service.
can I communicate with the spirit in the door?
No, it seems so low level and it's not intelligent at all. It's such a basic thing that's been bound to here to do one job and it's been given no freedom, no nothing,
Oh,
no
bugger.
sense of will or anything. It is just here, bound to the door to close it.
If it has no sense of will, do I think it cares or knows what it's doing?
It doesn't care. It probably doesn't even know what it's doing.
Can I poke it anyway and see if I can release it?
Ah,
I mean,
You try, but you are pretty certain whoever put this thing here is far more powerful than you currently are.
But it
Imba,
isn't suffering. Yeah. Yes, Moz.
I mean, magic can flare when it's used or like that. Do these spirits change in like any way when they're closing the door, or otherwise?
Probably not.
I was just thinking because it'd be really useful. I mean, I know it's a pain for you because it's like one of the things that you're constantly going to be seeing in the background. But if these things are closing doors behind us, it would be like useful to know if they're closing doors behind other people, other creatures.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't flare, then we won't know. But it's just that. Ooh,
Okay, I get what you're asking. So, close and open the door. No, open the door, let it close.
Yep.
Do I get any change in my spirit sense when it's kind of active and closing the door?
No.
Okay.
No. If you imagine it like this, there is a necromantic spell called Unseen Servant. You give them a job, they do the job, and while they're there doing the job, they would be going off and you could see the spirits, but you wouldn't see any change in them as they did the job. You'd see them appear, and that would be the big thing, and then they disappear at the end of it, but while they're doing the job, they're just there. Imagine this as an unseen servant that's been told, your job is to make sure that this door is closed at all times, and you are never allowed to leave until somebody tells you, until, something unbinds you from this job.
Yeah.
So it's like having an unseen servant without a duration. It's just constantly there, closing the doors.
Yeah. And there was nowhere in this room I can stand that doesn't catch one or both of the two doors.
Mm-hmm.
That's fantastic.
Now,
Excellent.
what I would say is, you think that probably over time and exposure, you might be able to start, like Nephi with Detect Magic can start to go, I know what that magic item is, I'm going to start ignoring it because I know what it is. You believe with a little bit of time and exposure, you could probably do the same. You'd start recognising the spirit of a door and be able to go, actually, I can ignore that because I know what that is. I just want to focus in on things that are different.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
But at least for a little bit of time, I'm going to say it doesn't.
Yep. That's fine. Yeah, because it's a 30-foot radius, so it's a significant chunk of space that's... Yeah, that's fine. If that's what happens, that's what happens.
I mean, if someone can make me feel just a little bit better before we go through another door, I'd really appreciate it.
Oh, how knackered are you?
Monks or...
I'm half knackered.
Okay.
yeah, Bon Jovi'd.
Indeed.
That took me way too long to work out what you were on about then.
Well, you can have
hopefully living on a bit more than a prayer.
you can have 4 points of being patched up.
Thank you.
And let's see how we're doing on other.
I thought it was going to be you could have 4 points for being patronised after my "Do you want tea and a hug" comment.
I imagine that whenever Phelan heals anyone, there is a lot of patronising.
No.
Well, what did you get yourself into this time? Why didn't you listen to me?
Okay, and we'll do a 2-action cast out of the staff as well for 13 more.
Ooh.
So I think I've got 1 charge left in the staff,
Yeah.
and 1 heal natively.
Mm-hmm. I believe so.
And I used my wand last session.
Mm-hmm.
It was like, good.
Stocked up on alternate ways of healing. Invert apparently stocked up on alternative ways of innuendoing everything.
There.
Okay. I'll repeat again. You have a door to the north and a passageway to the north. After playing with doors, what do you want to do?
I think we take the forward passageway, not the back one.
Something's got you going this evening, it would appear.
No, nephew, if you'd like to squeeze
the
past
wine.
The wine. We're going to blame the wine.
On point.
I am very tired and very snotty and have no filter, even less than usual.
That's fair. So, were you considering the door?
Yep.
I mean, I did suggest that when we started, and I haven't heard anything to change my mind yet.
Okay. Then I agree. I concur.
Before Mum has to tell us all twice. But,
I mean, I can do my trick of, forwards, backwards, can I sense magic, all that kind of stuff.
Okay, forwards and backwards
There you
and
go, forward.
trying to detect if there's anything magical.
Newly magical. Yeah.
That's the area of effect. No, you cannot.
Can I hear anything at the door?
Oh, you're asking all these questions now, aren't you? What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Player using their stats? Don't be ridiculous.
Nope, you can't hear anything.
Okay. Cool.
Hope that helps.
Probably not. I will prep my little crossbow, my trusty crossbow, and open the door.
Okay. You open the door and find another door about 10 foot away.
God's sake. I obviously have another listen, just to be sure.
Okay. So, having a little bit of a listen. Just zoom out so people can see where you are. There you go. Having a little bit of a listen at this door, you still do not hear anything. How long do you spend listening?
Moz.
I will wait a minute, listening, but with my eyes on the door behind me.
Okay, after a minute, the door closes.
Yeah.
You're in the dark. Not that you
Door.
care.
Nope. Okay, so at least we know it's always a minute on these doors. I will.
So far.
You said I didn't hear anything.
You did not hear anything, no.
Then I shall open this door.
Okay. You open up that door. You find a corridor that goes both ways.
Oh, goddamn.
Like,
I mean, the rule is always go left, so let's go right.
Okay. You step into the corridor. Go on, step in the corridor. Go on, move the token. There we go.
Alright.
You step in the corridor,
Oh.
and what you find is that after 10 foot in both directions, there is a set of stairs that go down.
Okay.
Then there is a 5 foot square, and then both passageways go north.
So it might loop round to each other. I'm like signalling to the others to join me, and then I get a move on. I poke my head round the corner, but without actually.
Okay. You poke your head round the corner
Hang
to
on.
find a set of stairs going up.
Oh. Do they go up to the same level as this corridor back here?
Yes.
Well, that seems like stupid architecture.
You poke your head around that corner
Oh my god.
to find a huge long corridor. I mean, once you're at the top of the stairs, you'll be able to see more, but you can tell from the walls that it just goes and goes and goes. Once you get to the top of that, you then find, looking down in the distance, that there are a set of stairs going down.
For God's sake. Are there any, like, hidden doors in this thing? Like, can I find anything?
Looking very carefully, because this does seem a bit weird, you cannot see anything which looks like a secret door on either the east or west wall of this corridor.
Can I sense any magic?
From where you are, yes, you can.
Ooh.
Now, what level of spell do you have that at now? What's your highest level
Oh.
spell? It's just level 1, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I can go
Yeah.
to first level, yeah.
Yeah. Do you know there's magic within 30 foot of you?
Uh-huh.
Helpful.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna carry on for a bit.
Okay. You
Yeah.
carry on, you find the stairs, you find the 5-foot platform, you turn and look round the corner, and there's a set of stairs going up.
Oh, good God, it really does just loop round. By this point, she's annoyed, so she just runs the corridor.
Okay, you run the corridor, it goes down, there's a 5-foot block, you look round the corner, set of stairs,
Oh,
going down.
I should have gone left. Because I found an entrance.
What you
something.
find, going up again actually. So what you find is while the ones on the other side go down, down, up, across, down, up, across. These ones go up, up. So you actually, this side is higher than the other side.
Okay. And again, looking for any hidden doors?
Okay. On this side, you can see that there is actually a little turn-off corridor here. Is anybody else not running and just checking everything?
I'm definitely checking for traps, trips, sigils, something.
I'm moving at a sedate pace round the other way.
Okay.
Because I can hear this exasperated Neffy sound.
I'm just trying not to get left behind.
Right. Neffy, you do not find anything other than the corridor that you've already been going along. Neither does Moz. Phelan, you do not find anything either. So there is a little description of this space. The walls of this 5-foot wide hallway shimmer and ripple with faint whirls of pale blue energy. See, this is why you have to wait sometimes and let me actually describe what you're doing rather than just running around the place. A staircase. Yeah, and you know what the staircases do? They go up and down in various bits and pieces. However, as Inver is keeping up behind everybody and looking along the corridors and various other bits and pieces, you realise actually people have just run past a door. In that northern corridor, halfway along, leading in south, there is a secret door.
Hey, Moz, we've run past the door.
Okay. Hold up, you lot. Neffy, you missed one.
Maybe rushes
Hold up.
back.
This pale blue swirling bullshit
Hang on, I haven't opened it yet.
that's pasting the walls. Is this the same? Do we get a kind of visual that is similar to the swirling vortex light from previous floors?
No. No, this is definitely something different.
Can I do a bit of an arcana check on what this might be? I don't anticipate hell lore or undead lore is going to help with this. But does this look like anything that arcane is appropriate for? Does it feel like a warding type thing, or a power type thing, or just a side effect type thing? This is an interesting box with some weirdness going on about it. There's a secret door that Imvar spotted, and the fact that these stairs do weird wibbly stuff has me a little bit interested about how this affects the whole geography of the place. So the walls being all shimmery, I'm not a fan of opening that door, particularly, and
So you want an arcana roll, do you?
I think it's the best one that I've got that's appropriate. I will happily take DM suggestion, because otherwise I've got religion, which doesn't feel right, Athletics, sure, can I run up that wall? And society, but Arcana is the closest, I think. Otherwise, nature, but really nature.
Does it look like occultism is going to help me?
So
Oh,
no.
actually, occultism.
Um,
Arcana.
it is Arcana. You, for whatever reason, you're able to tap into a little bit of sort of. It's not really knowledge you have. It's just you're kind of observing this. You're observing what's happening, and you're trying to keep an eye on it. And what you start to realise is that the arcane energy, as it goes around these walls, it's almost like there's a visual warping of the distances of this corridor. Now that you've gone all the way around and you've seen the design of it and the stairs and everything else, you realise that this must be a perfect square. But periodically, as you've been running around it, and now that you kind of look up and you're paying attention to it and you walk around slowly but surely, you start to realise that your perception of this corridor, sometimes the corridor feels really short and like you're getting to the end of it really quick. And other times, walking back round and coming down the same corridor, and you know it's the same corridor, but it feels like it takes forever. And what it seems to be doing is warping your perception of the distance. But also kind of piecing things together, you realise that it's only your perception that's changing. It's not actually a warped distance, but it does feel like somebody was trying to do that. Somebody was actively trying to warp the distances to really mess with people working out this corridor and everything else. But it's almost like it was a failed experiment.
I was going to ask, is it a failure or a fading?
A failure more than a failing. One thing, though, that you do realise is if you didn't have somebody like Inver who managed to spot this stuff and see that secret door, this warping effect would make it harder to find that secret door. Because it's not a door. The thing that Inver spotted was that unlike all the rest of the walls, this part looked faded, like it almost wasn't there. And it's not a door, it's an illusionary wall. There is a gap here, and somebody's put a fake wall in place that you can just step through.
Kind of cool.
This reads as sanctum.
So.
So they definitely wanted to hide something.
Yeah.
Do I just get drowned with door spirits? Try and pay attention.
You get a door
No,
spirit. Or
you actually don't feel any spirits in this area.
It's odd.
Well, actually, no, that's not. No, you do detect at least a couple of door spirits. Oh, as a note as well, Moz, as you've been running around this, you realise the original door is closed.
I was going to start throwing caltrops at them because I thought it was like some kind of evil mini invisible genius. Kind of glad it's just door spirits. I'm not going to be glad it's door spirits later, but I'm glad it's door spirits at the moment. I'm going to poke this illusionary wall with a button halberd.
It just goes straight through.
Just,
Yeah, it just goes straight through. There's no resistance.
So if you ran your fingers along the wall as you were running, you'd find it.
It's pretty much how you found it. You were just absent-mindedly wandering along, kind of touching the blue stuff because it was very interesting but didn't seem to be doing anything to you, and you just went, oh, all right then.
Can I have a listen?
Listen,
I mean,
nothing less.
Air gap.
sure, you can listen to the empty space. You do not hear anything.
I mean, who wants to go through first?
Okay.
I mean, who's on first? What's on second?
Don't start that. Okay.
You up, Faye? Oh,
Balin
shit.
steps through.
Well,
A pair of doors, although in this case, not a door. Well, yeah.
Is it a jar?
It's not, it's just a fake wall. A pair of doors provide exit from this room, one of which is set a foot higher than the room's dusty floor on a semicircular step. So as you step in, there is a semicircular step in front of you, which has a foot drop. And you enter into a room. This room was once what appears to have been a comfortable sitting room with 2 chairs and a low-end table between them. As you step in, you briefly see shapes begin to form. And now, Inva, all of a sudden your spirit sense goes, hello, there's spirits in every single one of these rooms and it's not just the doors.
And at that point, I'm going to move down and follow Phelan.
Briefly, these apparitions begin to coalesce, and you realise you are seeing a vision of Belcora within the room.
Oh.
Within this brief vision, Belcora is in a meeting with a drow who looks exactly like the painting you've got, the little portrait of Volok. There is no sound, but Belcora appears to be speaking animatedly about something, and Volok is listening very intently. It then fades away.
Can anyone lip read?
Not my skill set.
There is a feat for that, and I don't think any of you got it.
No.
What state's the table in? It might be a daft question. Is there any kind of residues or otherwise on the table?
No, and to be honest with you, the table looks like something that's been left alone for several hundred years.
Definitely have a look around the place.
But 2 doors. There's the second door, or am I just being dumb? I can see that
I'm
door.
stood between them.
Oh, did it include the one we just went through?
Yep.
Yeah.
I was just going to give that to screen left to people who are listening to the western quarter face wall. Going to give a halberd tap to the base of it.
Nothing. Yep.
As in, it doesn't go tap tap tap. It just goes.
No, it sounds like it's a partition wall.
Okay. Well, they know we're here.
Door over here.
Yep.
What's behind door number 2?
Do some magic-y woo-woo and have a listen and...
Detecty and woo-woo.
Yeah.
Woo-woo.
I think I've
You do not hear anything, and the magic that you can detect is still here. You just don't know exactly where.
Yeah.
There's still spirit stuff around, right?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Yeah, there's probably more spirits over there too.
Neffy's just gonna open the door.
Okay, you open the door.
Yeah.
Originally a lounge with 2 plush divans, this room flashes with a sudden image of Belcora relaxing while reading a large tome.
It's like her living quarters or something.
What's the purpose of this? What does this serve someone? This room was hidden, or this set of rooms is hidden. Why are we getting drip fed? What are we getting drip fed here?
How does it work? Because this is like an echo of someone who's not here
Yeah.
that we keep saying. how does that work in this?
You-
So, do
thing.
I know whether these have to be left deliberately or if these are resonances from particularly powerful events that happen?
You would imagine. Yeah, I can see what you're saying.
Is it a breadcrumb trail or is it just it was really powerful and therefore the stone remembers?
Let me just do a roll for you. There is a small chance that particularly powerful individuals or particularly powerful creatures, when they manifest, could leave a lingering part of themselves behind in rooms that were important to them.
Oh, I learned a thing last time we learned new stuff. I can touch objects and see what they know.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, pick the right objects now.
We still have the weird.
Oh, I'm
Blue
going to do it on
woo-woo.
the locket.
No, the blue woo woo is not in here.
Okay.
Oh, on the locket that we got from Boz's face.
Which
Drow locket.
Okay, so to read how it works because I'd forgotten. It just sounded cool when I chose it. With a touch, you can read the psychic impressions left on objects by their previous owners. This exploration activity functions similarly to detect magic in that you move at half your speed or slower while looking for it. You must brush your bare hands over any objects you pass. This detects objects with significant emotional resonance attached to them. If you're looking for a particular type of resonance, you can choose to ignore other emotions. If you find an item with that, you can explore the resonance with the following action. Which takes a minute.
Mm-hmm. So what are you trying to do it on?
Well, now that I know that there's pictures, essentially there's things left here by or because of Valcora, I'm just going to start wandering around the walls, the floor, the furniture.
Okay. So you get bits and pieces from this, and I will say that while the roll I've just made is not good enough that you really pick a lot of detail out of this, there's nothing you can focus on. That extended bit of being able to focus on the resonance and be able to hone in on it and everything else. What you do get is a sense of home. Everything in here gives you a sense of home.
This is where she lived.
It would seem that way.
Okay.
I start going through the drawers.
Okay. The problem is, of course, it's centuries old and there's nothing really in the drawers that is of any use. Not
Anything shoved down the back of the sofa?
No.
Should we try the next door?
Yeah. Moz is. There's no effectively stand by, prepare to attack type thing. Action is there really in Pathfinder?
Not really.
Yeah. Moz is not liking this. This feels either far too much like a setup or something is in this set. This is just too nice a hiding place to be empty. So Moz is very much scouty on edge in that case.
Okay.
Can keep us safe from the seen stuff. Well, I can deal with the unseen.
Yeah. If you want to pop it, Neffy.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll have another listen. And can I hear anything?
Okay.
Making the GM do loads of rolls.
No, that's fine.
I'm probably being unnecessarily paranoid, but this just
No, I'm also feeling on edge.
Oh, I need to grab a laptop cable. Otherwise I'm just gonna
Well,
disappear.
don't worry. We're about to have a break anyway.
Yeah, but
You
it's told me to plug it in.
Oh,
before
well,
it-
fine. Fair enough. You do not hear anything, Neffy.
Okay. And of course, the magic, it was just the same. I'm still just sensing the same, aren't I?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to open the door.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So I'm gonna, before you get to do anything at all, the first thing I will do is explain what the room looks like. A well-set table reveals this to have once been a private dining room. For a very brief moment, you see Belcora sat alone at the table, drinking a glass of wine and enjoying an elegant plated roast arm that looks disturbingly human. But at that exact moment, somewhat floating in the air, what appears to be almost like a vortex, a hole in space, containing these little tendrils that come out with little green fingertips on the end, begin to reach down to try and grab you. It looks like this, including the tendril with the eyes coming off of it. And it's at that point that we'll see you next week.
Pew.
Bye-bye for now. We'll see you all soon.